All right, this one we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Megan Thee Stallion's Pressurelicious with Future. All right, so starting off with the tempo, this one is at 147 beats per minute. We're gonna start off with the main bell sound that you hear repeating itself. I like to do these types of remakes just to sort of showcase that you don't have to do anything crazy to make a hit. It could be a simple melody, and that's really all you need for something to go really hard. So the main pattern looks like this over here. This is the pattern over here. And that bell sound is broken into two sounds. One is this preset over here, which is sort of the foundation to the sound. And for this, I use an instance of Alchemy, and it can be found under keys. The preset is called Curious Hammers, and it's just on the aged performance over there. And then I added in a piano sound, a Steinway grand piano, just to give it more of like a plucky sound. Makes it a little bit fuller sounding. And on that mix bus over there on the track stack, I added some EQ. I took a lot of the top and low end out. Added in some chorus, just to make it a little bit fuller and wider. And added an echo just to give it a nice delay. All right, next up, there's this sort of very ominous type of high-pitched sound in the background that keeps repeating itself. So for that sound, what I did, I took that original pattern, this one right over here, and I copied it down and I shrunk it down. So let me just do this right here. I'll show you what I did. So the pattern I copied down looked like that. And then I went ahead and just shrunk that down to make it 2 times faster. And we get this sound over here. It's sort of like this high sort of piercing sound in the background that continues throughout the entire beat. Just adds another texture to the sound that wouldn't be there if you didn't have it. For that, I used another instance of Alchemy here, found under keys, called Flute Hold. And I used just the original performance that was on the default setting. And then we're gonna go into the drums. So we got the snare, the hi-hat, just a 2-step hi-hat. We got an 808. So for the 808, I did a couple things to make it this sort of aggressive sounding. So the default 808 sounded like this. This is the pattern right here. From there, I brought in an instance of Fat Effects in Logic Pro. I love to use this plugin a lot of times just to give some distortion to my sound. So I use this distortion module over here, brought in some soft saturation and the squared distortion model. So if I go ahead and bypass this, and with the distortion, soft saturation is actually my favorite type of distortion to use on 808s, and the squared gives it like this different sort of buzziness to the sound that you wouldn't get it if you didn't have it. So like watch with it without. So if you're looking for like an aggressive sort of 808, go up to Fat Effects, pull up the square distortion, pull that up a bit, and you get that buzziness in there. Next up, this 808 is layered with a kick to make it punch a little bit harder. It's the same pattern. So with the 808, it sounds like this. But when you put an 808 and a kick together, they clash together. So I brought in an instance of Duck Out over here. And I use the Happy Kick 808 algorithm. So it's going to automatically sort of analyze the 808 and kick and make sure that they live happily together. So if I go ahead and bring that in, you're going to notice that the kick gets a lot punchier and has space on top of the 808. All right, and then from there we get a couple more sounds in there. We get this sort of, I don't know what to call this. It's like a fluty type of sound. This is the pattern right here. And for that, I use an instance of Alchemy found under Woodwinds, Grainy Blows. All right, and then moving on into the next section, we get these strings right over here. So for that sound, as soon as you hear like that type of string, you know it's coming from Mellotron. So I used Logic's stock preset Mellotron. And for sound A, I pulled up 3 violins. For sound B, I pulled up the same 3 violins, except pulled it up an octave. The tone I set to about 830-ish and tape speed in the middle. And you get that sound right there. Added a little bit of reverb EQ and added a little bit of automation on the volume because in the song it sounded like it kind of went down before the next hit. Down. So I just used some MIDI automation over here and I pulled up the volume here. So you can see it kind of goes down as it plays. All right, that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and take a listen to hear how it sounds all together. That right there is Pressurelicious by Megan Thee Stallion featuring Future. Logic section will be down below this video in the description box if you do want to check it out and start to take a deeper dive into the session. But that's it. If you do have any questions, go and chat in the comment section below. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.